Rizzo, MLB Network. I'm a host and reporter. I started at MLB Network in February of 2012, so as of February of 2014, I will have started my third year. It was an interesting one. Actually, I was fortunate enough that MLB Network actually pursued me. I was the Colorado Rockies sideline reporter for Root Sports in Denver, and naturally, being MLB Network, they watch every single game, so they saw my work as the Rockies sideline reporter and sometimes pre- and post-game host, and they actually contacted me via the phone. They flew me out here, and I auditioned actually in November of 2011, and you know, it was a bit of a process, a little bit of going back and forth, and they finally extended an offer to me in January of 2012, and you know, it took a couple weeks to really consider if I wanted to come and do it, and it was just a tremendous opportunity. So I said yes, and I started here on February 20th of 2012. Well, certainly the best job for me, or what I like the best, I should say, about this job is the variety. I'm not a person that can do the same thing every day. And being in this position, you know, every week is very different. Sometimes I'm hosting a show called Quick Pitch, which is a 1-hour highlight show. Sometimes I'm doing the Rizzo Report on Intentional Talk, which is just a 4-minute fun piece with Chris Rose and Kevin Millar. Sometimes I'm doing Strike Zone, which is 4 solid hours of rapid fire highlights with no break. You know, I had the opportunity to cover the playoffs recently, the National League Division Series, Championship Series, as well as the National League Wild Card to get things going, you know, when I was back in my reporting days. So the best part of it is certainly the variety, and honestly, to be able to get paid to talk about baseball for a living is something that is truly a blessing, and it's a lot of fun. As far as the industry is concerned, I'd say the same thing. I mean, the opportunities that have been afforded to me covering sports for the last 10 years, to be able to travel around the country and see almost every single major league ballpark and go to cities that perhaps I would not have, you know, traveled to if I wasn't in this business. So the variety, and you know, there's worse things you could be doing than talking about sports for a living. I think the biggest thing is hopefully you're not already a college graduate when you're trying to get this stuff done. Make sure while you're in school, you've certainly gotten the internships and the networking down. Internships are key. Oftentimes they're not paid, but the experience is invaluable. Networking is key. Make sure you're doing the stand-ups when you're out in the field with an actual reporter. Ask the cameraman to do a stand-up for you, to make a resume reel, because that's the first thing that, you know, hiring directors are going to look at. Be willing to work. It's not an easy field to get into. It's a very gratifying field, but it's not an easy field. You know, to get your foot in the door is incredibly difficult, and you know, getting the first job is the hardest one. But it's a weed out process. So, particularly if you want to be on air, be prepared to move. Not everyone's going to start in New York City. It doesn't work that way. Be prepared to move. Be prepared to sacrifice a lot. Be prepared to not make any money. And in the lower markets, in the smaller markets, be prepared to be what's called a one-man band or a backpack journalist, where you're doing everything. You're writing all your own stuff. You're shooting all your own stuff. You're editing all of your own stuff. You are your own producer, editor, reporter, everything all in one job. It is a big sacrifice to get in this. Be prepared to work holidays and weekends and nights and not be able to do things that, you know, some of your friends in different industries are able to do because your schedule will not allow for it. That being said, it's the most gratifying job I've ever had. I've been doing this for 10 years, and there's nothing in the world that I would rather do. Just understand that you need to be prepared and work incredibly hard, because for every one opening, there's 200 people that, you know, that are willing to do that job. So it's a dog-eat-dog world.